Hi everybody, welcome back to our channel. My name is Sarah and this is Rich and Sarah Learning as We Grow. Today we are talking all about 10 tips for the new homeschooling parent.
Baby, we're children of summer, we're meant to be free. Hearted, we're not like the others, no reason to be.
So right now, all of us, most of us, I'm gonna go ahead and say all of us that are parents are finding ourselves in a place of homeschooling our children. So I am actually a former elementary school teacher and I have always homeschooled our children. So homeschooling is not something that has been new to us due to the coronavirus. It is something and a lifestyle choice that our family has made years ago when our oldest son started school. So these 10 tips and ideas that I'm going to share are for the new homeschooling parent, but really even if you are a seasoned homeschooling parent, this would be beneficial to you as well. And I hope that you choose to keep watching this video. Click that red subscribe button. We film all kinds of things here on our channel. We share our daily life, especially here in quarantine. We're sharing recipes every day, what we do in our homeschool group. Usually we share fun vlogs like what we do at Disneyland and what we do living life in Southern California. So stick around and we'll get right to our video. Okay guys, so before we begin, I just want us all to take a deep breath because those of us that are new at homeschooling right now, this is a very different situation that you're finding yourself in. This is something that is unlike anything that we've had in our history, in our lifetime. And so we are being, as parents, you are instant homeschoolers, like overnight. There was no decision making in the process. It was just boom, here you go. Here's a computer. Welcome to Zoom. Your kids are homeschooling now. And so that can be scary and that's okay. So I want you to go ahead and congratulate yourself and say, you know what? This is gonna be okay. I'm doing a great job. I'm my child's parent, and so I really know my child inside and out better than anybody. And so therefore, I have the God-given qualifications to teach this child, to help this child through this time. I know you're asking yourself this. Who does she think she is? What gives her the qualifications to share and to speak on behalf of all homeschoolers to share this kind of information with me, the new homeschooling parent? Okay, first of all, I don't think that highly of myself in this area. It is something, homeschooling, raising children, and just schooling and life in general is something that we are all in this together trying to figure out at this point. So I have no harsh judgments on anybody that has children in school or that decides to homeschool. You do what's right for your family. And so right now what's right and what's best for your family is to follow the laws of the land and to welcome our children into our homes to homeschool. So consider yourself an expert in this because, like I said before, you are your child's best friend, you know them the best, and you are their parent. And that is the most important teacher that they will ever have, no matter if they are homeschooled or in public school or private school. I have a background in education. I used to be an elementary school teacher in both the public and private school systems, and that was many years ago before children. I have a bachelor's degree in education, and I have a master's degree in early childhood development, education, and child psychology. And I'm currently working on a doctorate degree in education and curriculum instruction. All that, and I still deal with tantrums, daily crying, spilt milk, and all sorts of incidents every day because most importantly, I'm mom. At the end of the day, degrees, all that kind of stuff doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's keeping these little guys happy and alive that matters. So a little background on us as a family. We have homeschooled. My oldest son is almost 9 years old. We have homeschooled since he was a kindergartner, and we even did preschool kind of homeschool stuff with him as well. So none of my children have ever been in a traditional public or private school. They've always done homeschool at home. I'm currently the director of our homeschool community program called Classical Conversations. There are so many different ways to homeschool. There's so many different views and philosophies and theories on homeschooling, but I don't know that that's all that you're looking for right now. I think you're probably just looking for survival mode and how to get through the quarantine, daily scheduling, and how to handle this whole homeschooling thing that you instantly found yourself involved in. Guys, I have to say that Tip number 1 is the most important tip I will share with you, and that is having a good attitude, having a positive attitude about homeschooling with your children and in front of your children and in your speech and in your conversations that your children hear, your mood, your attitude, all of this and all of these things are elements that your children pick up on. You've had these little guys since birth and since you decided to become a parent and since you wanted to become a parent. Children are very perceptive and they will feel what you are feeling. They will think what you are thinking. And so the idea of positivity of the mind and of your speech and how you address homeschooling, how you handle this right now, parents and caregivers, this is going to be the platform and the groundwork and the, jumping off point. There's no doubt about it, you guys. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, we have to homeschool today, I'm stuck with you, I am stuck in this house all day. I mean, all the things we're kind of privately feeling as parents, but if you voice that every day and you drill that into their heads every single day, that words like, I have to do this. Great. We have, attitudes, how we can get attitudes. Those things are so detrimental to how your child will look at homeschooling and how they'll look at school and view school for this year. I have twin newly turned 6-year-old boys, so school is so new to them. They are doing kindergarten this year. Everything, all the wonder and excitement and all the firsts of kindergarten, in a way, could possibly have been taken away from them due to all of this. But if I have a positive attitude and I look at it like, look at what we get to do today. I am so blessed that I get to wake up every day and I'm going to help you with your schoolwork and we are going to make the most of this and we are going to be happy and praise God that we are healthy and we are strong and we have a roof over our head and a warm bed to sleep in and we're able to bake cookies today and we get to spend the day together. That is kind of the attitude. That isn't even kind of, that's the attitude your kids want to hear from you guys. I understand there are working mothers and fathers and I'm not in that boat. I am a stay-at-home mom, but even if you are the working parent, my husband's working from home right now, but he makes sure he finds time to do lunchtime with the kids or bake cookies or a cake with them very quickly. You make the time, make the effort in your speech and in how you address what the day is going to be. Remember the words, I get to do this today. Turn it around, make it a positive, and you will see such a difference in your children. Now, having said that, I'm going to be totally realistic with you. It's okay to have a breakdown by yourself. It's okay to go into that shower, mamas. Sit there, run the water, even if you don't take a shower. Sit there, and I've done that. I've sat there in my bathtub, eaten a cookie and cried and had my moment, but don't do it in front of the kids. Let them have that positive time with mom. It's okay to say, hey, you know what? This is hard. This is hard on us all, but we are going to make this an amazing rest of the school year. So you don't want to hide from them that it's hard. It is hard and you want to be truthful, and it's okay to let them know that we're all in this together, but make sure that you turn around your speech patterns to a positive setting and a positive tone. Tip number 2, get creative in your thoughts about what school is. In fact, throw away some of your preconceived ideas of school. I know when I first started homeschooling my kids, I wanted everything perfect and I wanted them to sit in little rows and little desks and make everything just like a classroom was. And the classroom that I was used to teaching in, that's how we did things. And so it took me a good year or so. And I remember I would talk to the seasoned homeschool mom friends that I have, and they would say, Sarah, let go of those ideas. Let your home become the classroom. And so that is what I want to encourage you. Homeschooling. Okay, let's make it more about the home than the schooling, in the sense that you don't want to, I'm not saying don't have the education part be important. The education part is very important, but make your home be an environment of learning. Don't worry about having to have everything just so and just perfect. Tell the kids, it's okay if you want to do reading today and you want to sit in your bed and read, that's fine. If you want to sit on a beanbag chair and read, if you want to find a reading corner in the house, I always make little reading like nests for my kids. I put a blanket and pillows and they have their areas that are nooky and warm and sweet, and that's kind of their little comfort. So change things up. Don't limit yourself to your perfect traditional idea of what school is. And when you do that and you expand your mind and your idea of what school can be, you will be so unbelievably blessed and surprised and shocked that before you know it, you'll look around and go, I'm teaching my kids, and it's gonna be awesome. All right, tip number 3, get creative about where you do school. Okay, this kind of goes along with tip number 2. Where do you do school? We have a traditional school room, and we turned a bedroom into a school room, but I found that we don't actually really always do school in the schoolroom. We like to do school at the kitchen table. Sometimes we'll do school in the backyard, in the front yard, on a walk, on a nature walk, and believe it or not, we've even been known sometimes to do a math lesson in the bathtub. Yep, I'll put swim trunks on my kids, I'll fill it up with bubbles, I'll give them those washable crayons that are made for the bathtub, and I'll let them count out and draw things on the tile, and it turns into an amazing math lesson. So get creative about where you do school, and don't limit your thoughts and your understandings on where school has to be. Yes, school can be done at a desk, but school doesn't have to be done at a desk. School can be done anywhere. It can be done in the car where you're listening to a musical a symphony, and you're talking about Mozart and his amazing work and creativity that he's done. So get creative, and don't limit yourself on where school is done. All right, we've talked about get creative about what your thoughts are on school, get creative about where you do school, and now we're going to talk about number 4, which is get creative about how you do school. These all 3 connect, if you notice. So how you do school, how do you become creative about how you do school? Well, I'll tell you, school doesn't always have to be a workbook. If your children are in public or private school, they may be already connecting with their actual teachers from the year, doing Zoom and stuff like that, and meeting in virtual classrooms, and that's fine. But when you have them, you know, the other 6, 7, 8 hours of the day that they're awake, make sure that you have some really solid ideas for how you want to do school. School doesn't have to be sitting in front of a workbook all day long and writing and just going over math problems all day long like that. Get creative with it. If instead of doing math sheets or worksheets, think of something that you can do that's going to be, I don't know, long lasting in their memories. So for example, if I am working on a worksheet with my 2nd grader or 3rd grader about measurements and teaspoons and tablespoons and all that, I think it would be a really nice idea to head into the kitchen and to bake something. You can bake a cake, you can bake I don't know, cookies, something like that, where they actually are applying what they're learning to a life skill situation. So there's all sorts of ideas where you can do that. You can do that in science, you can do that in language. If you're learning about syllables, you can take them outside and you can play a game of hopscotch, and they can jump when they hear the different syllables. There are so many endless ways that you can do this, and there are so many resources on this on Pinterest and on YouTube and all kinds of videos, and it's all out there for free. And so it really just takes a little bit of planning on your part as the parent, but I think the rewards and the gain in the end is so much more. So that is my 4th tip for you. Tip number 5, have a gathering time every single day. I suggest you gather in the morning. In my home, we like to gather in the morning while we're having breakfast. We sit around and we have our morning time basket, which is basically just a basket that sits in the center of our dining room table or our kitchen table, and it has all the activities that I want to do in the morning with our kids before we actually start school. So this will look different for those of you who are on Zoom and virtual classrooms, but you will be able to find a time in the day, maybe it's lunchtime, maybe it's dinner time, where you have all of your little chicks, so to speak, in line and you're all sitting together and you have a captive audience. So I suggest doing it in the morning. So if that means you have to wake up earlier and get the kiddos up earlier in order to do this before their Zoom classes start and all of that, that would be best, I think, because it kind of sets the tone for the entire day. That's when I do a Bible reading with my kids, a scripture, a memory verse. We do a calendar time so they know what day it is. We talk about the weather. We talk about a current event, what's going on. We share prayer requests, that sort of thing. So it's kind of a culminating experience in the morning that kind of brings us all together once we've all brushed our teeth, made our beds, gotten dressed, and we're ready to start our day. So I highly suggest you come up with a time to bring everyone together and to start off your day or end your day with a fun and a heartwarming time of family time together. And that can look different for everybody. Some days my husband is there, some days he's not there for that. Some days it's just the kids and myself. And so you do what works best for your family, but I highly suggest it. Alright guys, tip number 6, use this time that you have with your children at home or your child at home to reinforce and to work on some of the I don't know, I guess daily life skills that you would want your child to have. So for example, different kinds of manners. If you want them to work on making their bed every morning, set goals. You know, maybe it's to work on doing their chores, feeding the cat, feeding the dog, going outside and helping you garden. Any kind of life skill that is at home that you want them to kind of work on, and really make sure you have that time to kind of imprint that into their brains so that this becomes a habit for them. This is a good time to do that. You have them home for weeks for the rest of the school year. All right guys, tip number 7, start a read aloud exciting book series with your children. Start a chapter book with them. My children and I have loved that reading time with each other. We did The Wind of the Willows in October. In November, I think we did Peter Pan. So anyway, we did all sorts of fun read aloud books, and it's something my kids really love, and all children love it, of all ages. It's something you can do with the littlest ones from like 4 to 5 years old up through high school. Make everybody be involved, everybody hear it. Have a time where mom or dad or grandma or grandpa, whoever is the main caregiver in your house, sit down, read a chapter. It's just a chapter out of a book. If you want to read more, that's great, but commit to 1 chapter a day of a read aloud book, and let their minds go off to a far off place. Let their minds explore a new adventure, make new friends, use their make-believe and their imagination, and it is an amazing free trip around the world that their minds can take, and it's all right there in a book. There are tons of free books on Amazon. There's even read aloud books on Audible if you wanted to do an audio book for your kids to hear. But I think it's most important that a parent or a caregiver reads out loud to the child, because it is a bonding time. It's so much more than just learning about a new book or new characters. So that is my tip number 7. Let's move on to number 8. Number 8. Come up with a good behavior system. I don't know, some people feel very strongly about rewards and punishments. Some people do spankings, some people don't do spankings. Look, I'm not gonna tell you how to do your business, okay? I'm just gonna tell you, I don't care if they're 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, all the way up to 18 years old, you the mama, you're the dad, you're the caregiver, you're in charge, okay? So come up with some sort of a system so that mutiny does not happen in your home, and that you keep all your little chickadees in line and they know your boss, okay? That's all. I'm just gonna let you know that. You can come up with ideas where, you know, everybody has input on what's gonna happen. I mean, you'll figure that out, but you need to come up with some sort of a behavior system and some sort of a way to keep people in line doing what they're supposed to be doing. And we're gonna just leave it at that. On to number 9. Okay, number 9 kind of goes hand in hand with the behavior system. Keep your cool mamas, keep your cool daddies, keep your cool caregivers, grandparents, whoever, aunts, uncles, whoever you are, keep your cool. Okay, there's gonna be times when you're trying to teach long division and you're gonna freak out. And you're gonna freak out because you're gonna know that you have told them 10,000 times how to do the long division. And you're gonna be annoyed because you're gonna know that they were taught some other way in school that makes no sense to you because you graduated school 30 years ago and we, you know, divided differently back then or added differently back then. Keep your cool. That means if you need to walk away from the situation for a moment, if you need to both go take a little 10-minute break and somebody needs a little bit of screen time while mama gets a little relax time or a cookie, whatever you need to do to make sure that you're not yelling at your kids, which I am guilty of doing. Every homeschool mom, you're lying if you're not telling the truth right now. If you're not saying that you've done this, you're lying. We've all lost our cool before. So I'm telling you from personal experience, try to keep your cool, and if that means you need a little bit of distance for a few minutes, do it, because it is not worth hurting or degrading your child over something, especially with education, which can stick with them forever. So take that time away and keep your cool, okay? All right, number 10, our last and most important subject in our top 10 homeschooling tips and ideas for new homeschooling parents is that you need to give yourself grace. Give yourself grace, okay? Wherever you are in this, whatever age children you have, whatever age you are homeschooling, multiple ages, whatever you're dealing with, here are my kids right now, give yourself grace, okay? Nothing's gonna be perfect. Nothing's gonna work out 100%. In your head, it's always gonna seem better than it's actually gonna play out. But just know that we're all in this together, and that you have support of friends and relatives, and even though we can't all be with each other and we have this social distancing, we're in this together. So if you want to, you know, come over to our channel. If you want to just see what our crazy life in quarantine was like for the day, and it helps you, because maybe you'll go, oh, my day was not as bad as hers. Or you can get a laugh or something. Give yourself grace, find joy where there is joy, laugh often, watch as much comedy as you can on Netflix and different stand-ups and stuff in the evenings. Use that time in the evenings to give yourself grace and to rejuvenate when your kids have gone to bed. You need to take care of you during this time as well. So make sure that you have a positive attitude and that you are seeing everything from a more positive light. And it's hard because it's scary out there, and we're hearing things daily, and our news can be so mind-boggling and just weigh us down. And so I encourage you to just give yourself grace, stay strong during this time, and take care of you. And those are my 10 tips, you guys. You're gonna do great at this homeschooling thing. The nice thing about all this is we are like the pioneers of this right now, you guys. Nobody before has ever done this kind of mass quarantine where all of our kids are home, we're all home, people aren't working. Nobody's done this before. So we're pioneers in this, you guys. Take comfort in that and know that, you know what? They're writing history about us. This will be in history books in years to come. You're part of that. And so take joy in that. Jump up, get ready to start the new day, implement some of these ideas into your routine, and have fun and love on your kids and enjoy this time home with them. Make this be positive, not negative. You're gonna look back on this when you were on your deathbed 50 years from now, and you're gonna say, I'm so glad I had that time with my family. Love you guys. Thank you for watching. If you are new to our channel, please hit that subscribe button. Come back here every day for a new vlog, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.